Hey, this is Dan from Paracord. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a watch band out of 550 paracord in a special weave that I use. It's a common weave, so I'll show you how to do that. Not sure what it's called, but all I have here is just a standard Timex Expedition watch. That's a 5/8 inch side release buckle, forceps scissors. It's approximately 120 inches of paracord, and then my transformer's butane lighter. So in just a minute I'll have this camera set up and we'll start making it. Okay, so to make the watch band, first you start out, like I said, I have 120 inches approximately of paracord. And then what I do is I fold it over, and I fold it over to where there's only, on one of the sides there's about 2 feet 24 inches, and then the rest of it is the other way. And then I'll take my side release buckle and I'll tuck this in from the top. And loop it through. Okay, so there it is on one end, and again you have about now probably about 22 inches on one side, and then the rest of it on the other. Then we'll take the other side and put it on. Make sure you loop it through correctly, or pass it through correctly, so it's not twisted. This is real important that it won't be twisted. Alright, and then I pull it all the way through. Alright, then you set it to the desired length that you want, and if you've seen my other videos, you see the little preset measurements that I make. I'm going to make this a medium. Alright, then what I do is I have these two that I just passed through here. I'm actually going to loop them through again. And sometimes it's helpful to melt the ends and make them a little pointy so that it's easier to pass this through, but I'll just go with what I got. If I can get it through here. Alright, and I notice this piece is a lot longer. Alright, so now I have all four little wraps going through there. Alright, then I come down to the other end. Okay, and then I'm going to run one more pass through there. And again, this is where you know, it gets all frayed up, so having it melted would definitely help. Just going to trim off this frayed end here. Alright, so again, and make another pass through here. Pull it all the way through. side. Pass it through. Again, I may have to trim off these edges here. Might be able to get it in there. Yeah, I'm gonna trim it off. Alright, got it through. Okay, now you want everything to be nice and tight. So again, once through here and then looped it around, came back down and double looped it through here. So now you have your two strands hanging out. This one here, you're going to end up, what I usually do is just cut it about maybe an inch down and then melt it to here just so it stays in place, and that will end up, I'm sorry, that one will end up being covered up. Okay, now I got a little different camera angle. I'll show you how what I use to make sure I keep the paracord nice and tight. One thing I went ahead and already did was I cut this a little shorter right here and melted it to the other side just so it stays secure. It's going to end up being covered up, but you know, that's not a very tight bond, but it'll just keep it hopefully still while I'm starting my weave here. Alright, so what I do is here's my excess, and what you start doing is you're going to start weaving through over, under. So we're going to start off with going over the outside, left outside, under the two middle. The two center ones are always going to be together, and then over the outside. Okay, so over the outsides, under the inside. Now when you come back around, and so I'm going to pull this one nice and tight, push it all the way up. When you come back around, you're going under the outsides and over the two middle strands, pull it through, and then pull it up. Okay, over. Now we're going to go over the outsides, under the center. Okay, so now we want all these to be slid up to where they're all right next to each other. I'm going to slide them up, and as you start to do more weaves, it'll be easier to slide it up. Alright, now we're going under the outside, over the center, pull it through, over the outside, under the center. Alright, push it up. Okay, and then also having it hooked up to this, it helps you keep everything tight and the paracord from, you know, having too much slack in it, especially here when you get down to the end. You want to make sure this is all nice and straight. Alright, again, so now you're under the outsides, over the top, the center, under, and then the opposite, over, under, over. Alright, and then slide it up. Alright, and every time you're trying to keep everything nice and tight. Alright, now under, over, under, over, under, over. So that's pretty much what you're going to do throughout the whole process all the way down, over, under, over, under, over, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to do that all the way down, and the main thing you want to look to do is make sure all of this is pushed all the way up, and so all of it is kind of stacked together. Alright, so here, under, over, okay, push it all up. Okay, now that I'm close to the end here, and this makes it a little bit harder to weave this through here, so what I do is I have a little tool here, a little needle that you can screw the paracord down into the bottom. You need to melt off the end first, then screw it in, and then you can weave this through a lot better. And do the same pattern over, under, going all the way through. And when you get to the end, you want to, squeeze it in there real tight to make sure that you get it nice and tight. So you use your little poker tool here to poke it in those little holes. And these last few will be pretty difficult to get it in there, but that's good. Okay, once you get to a point where you're not going to weave through anymore, I might go one more. Squeeze it in there. Alright, so that should do it. Then you want to make sure whenever you finish, you have it done on the back, and so you can tuck it in, and I'm going to show you how to do that later. I like to weave in the watch face first. So that's pretty much the band for you. Pretty wide weave, and that's good because then the watch is going to fit, right in there, and it'll be weaved through like that. So you'll see that on the next section I record. Okay, now for how you put the actual watch face on there. Alright, I have 4 gutted strands of paracord. Gutted means the 7 strands, the white strands on the inside. have been taken out, and that just makes it compress a little easier, and it makes it a little thinner. Now what I'm going to end up doing, this is actually the hardest part, is I'm going to weave this underneath, and I'm going to start from the back, and I'm going to weave it underneath this each of these wraps, and then I'm going to have it come up where I want the watch band to start. So let's say in this area, then it'll wrap around the little silver bar, wrap back under, go under the things, pop back up again, come around and go through. And this is the most time consuming and annoying part of doing this, because I take, let's see, where did I put it? I take my little poker tool, here it is, this, and I use it to poke all the way through. So I put two down the center, and sometimes I actually melt these together, and then we'll put this in there, so I run both of these at the same time, and then one on the outside here, one on the outside here. Now you can do less. Certain things that I've done is I've ran the two down the middle, and then I'll wrap it around like a loop around the bar, and then run it through that way. You can do that, and that is a little bit easier as far as less work goes. But so far, again, here's the watch band, and once we put the watch on, it'll be finished. So let me I'm going to do some of that off camera, because it would just take too long, and then I'll show you kind of what it looks like once we get to the first part of the watch band, or the first part of where the watch face goes on. Alright, just to give you a little update on what I did, is down here I pulled out a few of the weaves that I went through, and I pushed everything down to where I wanted to weave the watch in, and I ended up doing 12 loops down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that's where I put the first, or the 4 cords through. I ran 2 through the center, and then 2 on the outside, and then I wrapped it through, and then wrapped it back through. So now what I would do later is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to, run it through all the way through here, hide it underneath there, and then put these 2 down the center, and then this one on the outside, and then I'll run this underneath the same way, and then I'll poke it back up to tie down this side. So I'll run it through about 6 loops, and then I'll come up through here, wrap it back down just like I did here, and then hide it through here. Okay, so now I'll show you where I am. Alright, I ran these. Okay, so those 4 are going to go up here underneath, and I ran the 4 that were coming out the other side underneath here and brought them up right here, and then I already ran them through the other side of the watch, and so now I pull them through. Alright, so I got those 4 in there, and then these 4 in here. So the next thing I need to do is I'm going to run these in right here. Okay, now it's fully wrapped through. Okay, there's nothing, if you look in between there, underneath here, you don't see those strands at all. And then they pop out here, wrap around, pop back through, they slide all underneath here, and then they pop back out, run around the little metal rod, and then go down and come out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these 4 strands up through here, and then run these up through here, and it'll be done. Alright, so I got it all tucked away. Now as you can see, there's a little melted spot there where the pieces would come out. I clip it off as close as I can and then melt it without melting everything else. So you can kind of see it there. And then down here there's a little bit more. there's the last piece tucked in right there, melted, and then I have the inside piece is melted right here, and it's all finished. So then that's how it would go around. Oh, by the way, I have my Support Our Troops bracelets. That's ACU digital camo, like the Army uniform, and then the little yellow ribbon. But here's the watch on. There it is.